Why would an auction platform give bidders all of the information they need about a property up front? It might seem counterintuitive to some who suspect that there's a lot of hiding of information and people being misled in real estate, or this sense that an agent might not want to give you a whole load of potential reasons to say no to a property up front. They would rather kind of hide that and get you on a call to sell you. So when we see an auction platform give a load of information, to some it might be surprising. Now, two economists in the 1980s formalized this as a mathematical proof as to why auction platforms ought to give as much information as possible upfront in order to have more confident bidders, basically, and increase the chances of a successful auction. So let's go through this without any maths. Let's say that we've got two bidders and each of them wants the same property. Let's say that, having seen some very basic things about the property, maybe they know how many bedrooms it has, how many bathrooms, maybe they've seen some pictures, and that's about it. This guy reckons it's worth 2 million. This guy reckons it's worth 1.9. And let's say the seller has set a reserve price of 1.8. Now this is only known to the seller and to the auctioneer, and that's the minimum the seller would accept in order for that property to be sold at auction. So let's take the extreme case here. Let's say that neither bidder is allowed to view the property and neither bidder has access to data about the property or similar properties. And each of them is required to write on a piece of paper their sealed bid. So the paper goes into an envelope and then it's revealed who is the highest bidder. Given this severe lack of information, each of them would be expected to shade their bids quite significantly in order to reduce what we discussed previously as the winner's curse. So this is quite an extreme example here where the winning bidder could walk away with quite a lot of buyer's remorse because there is just so much that they don't know, and they would err on the side of extreme caution with their bids. So with that in mind, let's say that this guy only bids 1.6 and this guy only bids 1.5. So as you can see, we've got a failed auction. The reserve was not met. Now, how can we improve things? Let's allow them to view the property. So they go in, they see what they like, what they don't like. Maybe if there's anything that needs fixing or changing, they can kind of estimate how much it would cost to do that. Now we have reduced uncertainty surrounding their private valuations, and as such, they are now more confident to bid a little bit closer to how much they actually value the property. So let's say this guy now bids 1.7, this guy now bids 1.6. Unfortunately though, we still have a failed auction because the reserve was not met. We are still suffering from the winner's curse. Both of them are scared to bet their true valuation. So what can we do to improve things? Now let's say we give them a ton of data. We give them all of the Dubai Land Department data, for example, similar transactions, similar properties, history of this property, how much it was sold and rented for in the past and when, and the same for its neighbors, similar properties. Now we have again reduced uncertainty around their private valuation, and as such they will be a little bit less cautious or overly cautious. Now this guy bids 1.8, let's say, and this guy bids 1.7. So now, all of a sudden, we have a successful auction, just about. The reserve has been met, hasn't been exceeded, but it has been met, so the property would be sold. But the seller might still be a little bit unhappy. This was the minimum they were willing to accept. The seller would have been hoping for a little bit more than that. So what can we do to reduce the winner's curse even more, or even get rid of the winner's curse? Well, As we discussed in a previous video, the bidding format is extremely important. Here, both of them are shading their bids because neither of them wants the kind of envelopes to be revealed and then to see that they had bid a lot more than their competition. To prevent this, we change the bidding format to an English style or ascending auction. So let's do it. Let's say with a reserve of 1.8, let's say that the guide price was 1.65 and the starting bid, let's say the starting bid was 1.65. Let's say he goes first. So that's 1.65, or bids 1.65 rather. Then this guy bids 1.7. This guy bids 1.75. This guy bids 1.8. This guy bids 1.85. This guy bids 1.9. And then we've reached his private valuation. So he drops out. He's the winning bidder at 1.9. Now he has walked away with a property that was a little bit below his private valuation. The seller has walked away with a property that was above his reserve. We have reduced uncertainty as much as we possibly can because they have been allowed to learn from each other's valuations. So as the auction went on, we had information gain, basically. We weren't just bidding in the dark. So yeah, we've got a successful auction on our hands, and for any who are interested, the guys that formalized this as a mathematical proof were Milgrom and Weber in 1982. And the name of this principle is known as the linkage principle. The reason being that the final price can be shown to be linked to pieces of information attached to it, whether that being experience of viewing the property for yourself or seeing applicable data, seeing private valuations, independent valuations associated with that property, or, as we just discussed, learning from each other as the bidding takes place. This final price can be shown to be linked to all of that information. And by giving all of that information up front, we have allowed these two to make confident, informed bids.